No. 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 No.
Across the water we can see the Tivoli, Gröna Lund, located on the island Djurgården. In the summertime, this Tivoli is one of the most visited places in Stockholm, thanks to its roller coasters, attractions and concerts. It's said that when Jimi Hendrix performed here in the 1960s, he didn't want to end the concert, so they had to pull the plug on his electric guitar. Our next stop will be Moderna Museet, the Museum of Modern Art.
Du har sett vilken fin
Start number 3, Moderna.
Har han målat det?
Jag tror tyg på det.
Men jag tror plast.
Plast. Men är det lite Pippi Långstrump på det, va? Hur fint det är.
Men vad är det här för någonting?
Det är ett konstmuseum.
We will soon leave Skeppsholmen Island and go back to the mainland. Across the water, on the left-hand side, we can see Gamla Stan, the old town of Stockholm. The large, square, brown building is the Royal Palace. It will not stay brown, however, as it's been decided that the palace will be painted pink. The palace is the official residence of the Swedish king, although since 1981, the king and queen live in another palace, Drottningholm, located about 1 hour's boat ride away from the city. The Royal Palace across the water from us now is where the King and Queen have their offices and where most representation takes place. A large part of the palace is open for the public. Our current palace is not the first one to be built in this location. In the founding days of Stockholm, a tower stood where the palace stands now. It's close to the highest ground in Gamla Stan, and the tower was used for defense purposes. It was eventually rebuilt, and during the Middle Ages there stood a castle known as Tre Kronor, 3 crowns. In 1697 a terrible fire broke out, which destroyed the castle Tre Kronor, and the construction of our current palace began. It was finished in 1754. The 3 crowns have become one of the leading Swedish symbols. They can be seen at the top of the Stockholm City Hall, which we will pass later during this tour. They can also be seen on the jerseys of the Swedish ice hockey team.
The palace Tre Kronor was much more palatial than this current castle.
Jag hörde det. Har du sett det? Vad har han hittat kronor då?
In a few minutes we will pass the Royal Opera, which offers an excellent program for those interested in culture. It is a large brown building further ahead on our right-hand side. The opera was founded by King Gustav III in the late 18th century, at the time of the French Revolution. Just 10 years later, the king was assassinated during a masked ball. This event was the inspiration for Giuseppe Verdi's opera, A Masked Ball, which premiered in Rome in 1859. The present-day Opera House is not the original building from the time of King Gustav III. It was built on the same site as its predecessor a century later and was opened in 1898. King Gustav III is known as our great cultural king. Apart from founding the opera, he also founded the Royal Dramatic Theatre and the Swedish Academy, whose responsibilities include selecting the Nobel laureates for literature every year.
Isabella, kolla vad han säger.
It's a herd of dogs. Look at all those.
Ja. fiskar, så de står där och fiskar.